Let's do this. A hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Bruce McCurdy. Hey, Bruce.
Hey, David, how are you doing tonight?
Well, I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
I'm not in a real good space tonight, David.
Why not?
Gotta say. Well, a few wacky things going on in the world right now, and
Oh, isn't
I,
that the
I
truth?
watch hockey for, relief from that. And tonight I just wound up getting unhappier. The longer I watched, the unhappier I got.
Misery is the price we pay for being a fan. And if you wanted to see misery, they panned to Ken Holland's face, I think, after this second period.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and up there, all alone in the press box, he just looked like he was the picture of misery. And
Well,
a lot of people are, of course, blaming him, and he's running this team, and so he shares in the blame.
yep.
6-2 loss to the Vancouver Canucks. The grade A shots were 13 for the Canucks, 13 for the Oilers, with the subset of 5 alarm shots, 9 for the Canucks and 6 for the Oilers. So that
What were the rush shots tonight, David? Do we have them?
give me 1 second. I can
Sure.
tell you that. The rush
North
goals were
Vancouver.
3 for the Canucks and 0 for the Oilers. How about that?
Jeez, it's 21-6 now.
21-6, Bruce.
They can either create goals off the rush nor defend them.
It is bizarre. It is bizarre at this point, their defensive response to the rush.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to get into this in our 2 bad things. This is our 2 good things, 2 bad things, 2 numbers, and 1 conundrum podcast. We'll start off with our good things, Bruce. What was your good thing?
Well, it has to be how Edmonton started the game. They came out with their pants on fire, and they were absolutely all over Vancouver from the puck drop. I think the shots were 9-0 by the 3-minute mark. By the 11:29 mark, which is to say just before Vancouver scored, they were 19-2 for Edmonton, 19-2, and they were just all over them with a bunch of grade A chances in there, and just a tremendous amount of pressure in the zone. And Vancouver was the second best team by a country mile for those
7-1 in grade
10
A
minutes.
shots, Bruce. 7-1 in grade A
10
shots.
minutes, eh?
Yeah.
And then
And 1
Vancouver
goal.
came over the Edmonton blue line a couple of times, and it was 2-1 for Vancouver, and that was basically all she wrote. But those first 10 minutes were excellent.
Yeah, that was really painful. That was horrible. That first goal from the Canucks, it's not a bad thing or anything, but Darnay putting it in his own net, that was so brutal. That was so painful. It's just bad luck on a certain level. And it was just, golly, geez, golly willikers. Why did he do that? Yeah, it was a really good start, Bruce. My good thing is the lines. I like the lines that Woodcroft had tonight. I thought it was creative, and I thought it distributed the talent in an interesting way and probably a better, more effective way. I mean, the grade A shots in this game were 13-13. The Canucks had the better chances, mainly because they feasted on the rush. But Edmonton had some stuff going on. I like the Draisaitl, Holloway, and who was the third guy? Draisaitl, Holloway, and
Fogle.
Was it Fogle?
Fogle.
Yeah, and then they had McDavid with McLeod and who was McDavid with McLeod, and because they had the Kane, Hyman, and Nuge line together, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they had McDavid with let me just see here, McLeod, and who was the third member of that line, Bruce? Wasn't that Fogle?
Holloway was there for
that was Holloway.
They were scrambling it, of course, as the game went along.
Oh, Gagner, McLeod, and McDavid, I think was the line, and then they had the
Hyman, McLeod, and McDavid. They played
there you go.
almost 10 minutes together. and Hyman, McDavid, and Gagne played a couple of shifts together, but
It was
natural
Hyman
stat
then.
natural
Okay.
stat trick keeps any line that plays together for more than 1 minute. They show them in their game
I like
summary.
those. I liked mixing it up. I thought it was a good, it was good to get some speed on those lines. And McLeod and
Mm-hmm.
Holloway had better games. Holloway was involved in the goal.
Mm-hmm.
He, getting in there fast on the rush, helped cause that goal. And yeah, he was more effective. They found a way to use his helter-skelter speed up front and open up the ice a little bit. And I thought McLeod too, his speed was used more effectively on the line with McDavid. So I like those two pairings, Holloway with Draisaitl and McLeod with McDavid, essentially is my good thing. And I thought it was a new look, and it generally was better than the old look, and it worked somewhat. Although they only scored one goal at even strength, of course, so wasn't exactly running with a wasn't exactly running with a bunny with his tail on fire. It was just okay, but it was better than what we'd seen. All right, Bruce. Why don't I'll do my bad thing first since it comes first in the game.
Sure.
Um, so this is we've already talked briefly about the first goal against, which is just a tremendous, Desharnais trying to cut out a pass across the crease, a hard pass, and he puts it in his own net.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just brutal because the Oilers had been utterly dominating there. And you get a goal like that against. But the next goal, Bruce, the next goal was, to me, epitomizes the Oilers season entirely. Everything that has gone wrong with the Oilers season went wrong on this particular play. So first of all, it's a rush goal against, and the Oilers have now given up, as we say, is it 21 rush goals against at even strength. And it's a nothing play. Vancouver is puck behind their net. It's a basic breakout. And whatever system the Oilers have, it completely and utterly disintegrates. It's just the Canucks just shred it, and not with particularly brilliant play in any way. So they Holloway's in front of the net, and Draisaitl's kind of at the face-off dot, and they come out the other direction. And immediately they move the puck up the ice, and there's a diagonal pass right across the ice. So whatever their system is, it's allowed the diagonal pass across the ice. I think Foegele gets back too deep to cut out the diagonal pass across the ice, across the neutral zone, and Draisaitl's not coming back fast enough to cut out that pass. So between the two of them, they allow a diagonal pass across the ice. But even then, there's no real trouble. There's one Vancouver player coming down the one wing, and Desharnais on him. And there's another player, Dakota Joshua, I think his name is, with the puck, coming down the wing. And he is such a threat, Bruce. He is such a dangerous player that the Oilers decide they need two guys covering him. So Kulak, who is backed way up into his own zone, when Joshua, when they make this diagonal pass, he's already back at the ringette line, above the faceoff circle. So both he and Foegele go towards him. And what does that do? It opens up the middle of the ice for the immortal Pius Suter. And no fewer than two Oiler players, Leon Draisaitl and Dylan Holloway, are cruising back slowly through the neutral zone. Slowly. Why are they worried? What me worry?
Mm-hmm.
No one's ever scored a rush goal against the Edmonton Oilers. Why would I hustle back?
Yeah.
I have had it, Bruce, with this slow ass back checking from these players. Ooh, I'm getting a little hot here. How many times does it have to happen for them to think, maybe if I just went as hard as I can on the back check here, I could prevent a goal against? Maybe if I just turned on my jets, and either of them could have done it. Holloway could have done it, and Draisaitl was the main culprit. He was the first man back.
He was the first culprit, and then
Holloway was
close to the guy, and he was just cruising on 2 feet. Just
either of them could have caught it. Either could have caught him, and they both just cruised. They just both thought, I'm too special for back checking, I guess. Is that what it is? What is it? at this point?
It's
This many years into Leon Draisaitl's career, what is
brain cramps. I don't know, David. I can tell you later in the game, Draisaitl busted his hump to get
he
back
did?
to break up a 2-on-1, and then the third guy came up the middle of the ice and nobody took him, and he scored.
Well, that's because you're going to get to that. That was. I just.
Yeah.
It's just
Anyway,
like
yeah,
so
you're
many of
right.
these
That was
rush
that
goals
goal.
are just off brain farts. They give away hockey games right now because of a lack of effort and a lack of concentration defensively off the rush. You'd think they'd be sick and tired of it. You'd think they'd be sick and tired of losing and sick and tired of scoring off the rush. Other teams scoring off the rush. Okay, so then this isn't the worst of it, though. I haven't even got to the worst part.
No, you haven't.
Okay, so Draisaitl and Holloway are late as Dakota Joshua passes the puck back towards the blue line where P.S. Suter is coming over the blue line and moving into the slot. And from the high slot, he puts a puck right in the middle of the net, pretty much, right on the middle of the net. And somehow Stuart Skinner, who is Skinner and Campbell are statistically two of the worst goalies in the NHL. And on this shot, we see why Skinner's included in this. It goes right through him into the net. It's a B shot from the high slot. He's got to have it. He's got to have that shot. And it goes in the net. It goes in the net, Bruce. And
yeah,
I just don't know.
My living room exploded in just a huge volley of curses at that moment when that went in. The shots are 19-4, and Demko's been standing on his head for half a period. Skinner's been watching the play from like 150 feet away, and then they get one while, and then the very next, you got to have that save. You just 100%. You have to have a save there. You have to have it. Didn't get it. And the Oilers trailed for the whole rest of the game. Once again, an early lead blown, and once they got behind, forget about the comeback.
You have to tell Anna and Kevin to stop swearing like that, Bruce.
Yeah, it was them. With them, yeah. No, it's happened maybe 2 or 3 times so far out of 11 games. That it's just something that's just so egregious that I just can't handle it for a minute or two, and I just.
So this encompasses lazy back checking, some kind of weird ass system that nobody knows and nobody's playing whatever it is, and crappy goaltending. It's just everything on a rush play. This is everything wrong with the Oilers' season in this one play, and wow.
But that P.S. Suter, Dakota Joshua, Ian Cole combination, sometimes they just can't be stopped, right? I mean, we're talking about star players for Vancouver here that just tore Edmonton apart on that play.
Yeah, when you're out against that kind of talent, the best you can do is just hold on. He might want to hustle against that kind of talent anyway.
Yeah.
Bruce, wow. Okay, what's your bad thing?
Yeah, well, I'm going to resist the opportunity to do what Leon Draisaitl and Jay Woodcroft both did and
lose it.
Tell the truth about the referees who were brutal in this game. In this game. But I'll pick actually a hockey player, lack thereof. And unfortunately, the culprit here is Evan Bouchard. This is the 4-2 goal where Edmonton has got themselves back into the game. 3-2. 3 minutes before this, the Oilers have closed the gap. And Vancouver gets a goal where the Draisaitl actually wins the faceoff. It's in the offensive zone, and I think it's like 8 seconds from winning a faceoff in their end to the puck being in Edmonton's net. And Draisaitl won the draw into the slot. Neither defenseman moved in on it. Fogle kind of moved over to it, but he lost the battle on it. And that's when Evan Bouchard decides he needs to pinch. And, of course, the puck gets chipped off the boards past when it's a 2-on-1. They are going down the ice. And Draisaitl this time from his position of winning the face-off busts his hump, and he gets down there and he almost catches the second guy. I'm not even sure he caught him, but he at least sort of made himself part of the play. And Bouchard also busts his hump for about 100 feet. He gets on the goal scorer, who is Niels Höglander, who's a guy that had me thinking unspeakable things at times during this game. And anyway, so he busts his butt all the way down the ice. He catches Höglander basically even with him. And then when the Vancouver guy shoots the shot, because he doesn't have options because the two others hustle back, Bouchard decides, oh, now's a good time. I can just stop moving my feet and watch the shot and see if Stu makes a save. Well, Stu did make the save, and he punted a big rebound right into the slot to Niels Höglander, who's now about a quarter step ahead of Bouchard because Bouchard stopped moving his damn feet, and he pounds it home 4-2. And that was basically the end of the Oilers competing in this game. And it's just, why can't they keep skating on defense? Why do they quit on plays like that?
My comment on that was LOL on our score sheet. It was Bruce. in watching it again, the pinch became slightly more forgivable. It was such a quick play. Now, his first instinct should be in that moment, danger, danger, and he should be backing up, right?
He doesn't think that.
But he did. They don't. He did hustle back. And was it just the last podcast where I mentioned where I'm totally befuddled by this? It must be something in human nature.
They skate. The old Mark Messier.
They go so hard to get back. They skate as hard as and hell, I probably do this every game too when I'm playing hockey. You skate as hard as you can to get back, and once you get even with the player, you stop. Instead of getting on the defensive side of the player, instead of taking one extra stride, extra stride and lifting his stick, or just getting on the defensive side of him. As soon as they catch up to him, they coast. And then it becomes, for the puck, it's a 50-50 play. Instead of you getting like a 90-10 play where you're going to almost certainly get it, it's a 50-50 play. And on this one, it went to the wrong guy, and he got it. And yeah, all Evan Bouchard had to do was take one more hard stride, literally one more hard stride. He would have been on the right side of Höglander, and there's no way he would have scored. Instead, he just stopped skating. And it is a fascinating, I actually find it fascinating. And because you see it all the time. Maybe you don't see this on other teams. I don't know. Like I don't watch other teams as closely. But it must be something in human nature or hockey nature. Like maybe they're just afraid of losing track of the player if they get on the defensive side of him, or maybe they're afraid they can't stop in time in front of the net. Like they're just going to go ram into their own goalie or something. But you just see it again and again and again. It's almost as common. Like the other big mistake you'll see is after a turnover, after a player makes a turnover, he just gets tunnel vision for the puck and he just starts chasing the puck to make up for his mistake, and he doesn't cover the right man. So that's another kind of thing that you constantly see in hockey. But this is maybe even more so. And I don't know how you could train that out of players, because I do think it's probably not just the Oilers. I think it's just common in hockey, but it's you just see it so often.
Yeah, you see it too often, and this is you see it more often from some players than others, and
that's true.
And Evan Bouchard and his lackadaisical defending, and he's a defenseman, of course, so it really, it can be costly real quick. And tonight was him. It was Draisaitl on another play. Last time that we talked about this happening was McDavid.
Yes.
Not failing to overtake Joe Pavelski, the oldest guy or second oldest guy in the league, on a 120-foot back check. And he got close and then he coasted. And close doesn't cut it, guys.
Oh, yeah. So this has me thinking about Jay Woodcroft, actually, the whole Jay Woodcroft conundrum. And it just like one of the things you'd have to do as a coach is you're just teaching habits constantly. It's process, which is built on habits. And this is what makes me wonder about the Oilers' process on defense. And their defense was really weak last year. And is there just that attention to process and attention to habit? Like every single time you must do this, every single time you must do that. Here's what you do, on the back check. You don't stop when you catch up to the guy. You stop when you're on the right side of him, and you do it every single time. And every single time that you don't do it, we point it out to you in a nice way, but we remind you. And if you do it too many times, we will bench you or something. Like I just wonder about that aspect of the Oilers at this point with their defensive play, because their defensive play, this is the biggest expression of it. It's kind of blown up in their faces entirely. But this is haunted. It haunted them last year. It got the best of them. It's why they lost to Las Vegas in the playoffs, and along with goaltending. And here we go again. So, your number, Bruce. Let's move on.
Okay. Well, I'll avoid the opportunity to mention 24 minutes and penalties to 8 in this game.
Thank you for avoiding that.
And instead, I'm going to talk about one of my good things from this game, and it wasn't great, but it was good. Darnell Nurse's game. I like the pushback. I like that he came out hard and heavy from the first period to the third, and he was playing the Canucks, and he was hammering guys. He had 8 hits in this game, 8 hits, 8 shot attempts, 2 block shots, also 2 penalties. And of course, Vancouver converted both of them into easy goals, it seemed like. And so that has to count against him, although the one penalty, was clearing the net front and playing hard hockey. And the other one was, garbage time, taking a shot at Nils Höglander, who by that time had a shot coming. And his helmet mysteriously came off. He drew, I think, maybe 3 penalties in this game, Höglander. One from Ekholm, who had his cross-check stick. And he did give him a cross-check, but it was waist high. And Höglander kind of stumbled into the check, and the ref, I think, decided that it was a high cross check. I mean, Höglander's like 5'0" when he's standing up, and when he's going down in advance, he's shorter than that. And then Ekholm was really upset, which you don't usually see. McDavid was really upset with the ref. Draisaitl was really upset. Woodcroft was really upset. And I mean, these guys are upset because of the way things are going. But they also did get pretty hosed in this game. I'm not sure it was the difference in the game, but, Vancouver got 3 power play goals, and a couple of them were on fairly marginal calls, shall we say. Anyways, Nurse was taking no prisoners, let's put it that way, and I thought he made some good plays. He made a great stretch pass to McDavid, the far blue line, right in the first minute of the game. Made a terrific rush on the shorthanded in the third period, where he collected a puck in his own zone, rushed up ice on 2-on-1, cut in and got a good shot. And I just generally like the fact that he was pushing back, and that was good. I also didn't mind Hyman pushing back, although I was a little disappointed that he stumbled with after JT Miller took liberties with McDavid. Yeah. Same JT Miller who creamed Holloway right in the numbers that somehow wasn't a penalty right before Woodcroft got the toss. And it was just, there seemed to be a real double standard in this game, and that is something that tends to tick me off. I'll keep the language clean for this podcast, but
excuse me. There's Fogel's goal too. I thought Fogel.
The Vancouver guys shoved his stick in on Fogel's
feet. It wasn't a kicking motion. It was he was being
getting tripped motion.
And if you look closely, you can see that should have been a good goal.
And the other one, where Derek Ryan, they were calling a high sticking penalty because he got smashed in the face. And they looked at the replay and said, "Oh, he didn't get a high stick. He got elbowed in the face. We have to cancel that call because it wasn't high sticking." What? Let the guy friggin' elbowed him in the head. Wake up.
If Fogel's goal goes in, it's then 4-3, and we got a game. And I thought it was a good goal. I thought it was a good goal. Unless he kicked it in the slot itself earlier. That was the only other thing I thought, that he might have, like on Holloway's shot, I noticed that Fogle might have
It's
kicked
only
it
kicking
then.
it into the net that matters, though. You can
Well,
kick it
but
towards
no,
the
but
net,
that
no
would have been
problem.
kicking it into the net too. Like he might have kicked it initially and then kicked it again. So there might be, it might have been that. So that's my only proviso. But
So,
anyway, I thought it looked like a good goal to me. It looked like it was propelled in, and
mhm.
um, then Fogle got tripped and it went
Yeah,
in.
yeah. Well, the guy tried to shove his stick in there. He was trying to keep it out. And
Yeah,
I mean, I'll
it
give
takes full
Vancouver
speed
lots
out
of
from under
credit
him.
for the fact that when the puck got into the front of their net, there tended to be 5 Vancouver guys down in the slot, whereas a similar play in Edmonton slot, there might be a guy there and there might not. You know, it's just a night and day in terms of how they defend, and
That's the
also night and
Oilers.
day in terms of their goalie making saves.
Yeah.
So this is the first
Uh,
time in 8, 9 years, apparently, that Vancouver's won 3 straight off of Edmonton, but 18 goals to 6 in the 3
yeah.
games. And Oilers outshot Vancouver in all 3 games, they were saying.
My
So,
number, Bruce, is 10 points in 9 games. That's Connor McDavid. So for a normal NHL player, that's really, really good. For Connor McDavid, that is not. Uh, so, yeah, he's not. He got 0 points tonight.
and
He has his moments where he looks
he was
good in the
better
game.
tonight than the last, I
Yeah,
think,
on the
last
power
couple
play
of
with
games.
Wheeler, he's just slowly getting a little better. Maybe it's his. So we had 4 major contributions to grade A shots. Last year, he averaged 7 per game. Tonight, he had 4. So
2 on the first shift and then 2 for the whole rest of the game.
yeah,
Okay?
yeah. So he's anyway. It's just highlighting the fact that he's not, obviously he's not 100%, and that really hurts the Oilers as well. But all these rush chances, they could still happen with McDavid at 100%, and you'd still be losing all these games because it is bizarre,
Yeah.
Bruce.
Yeah.
It is bizarre what's gone on the rush. Okay, let's move on to tonight's
He's
conundrum.
he's got he's in a 25-way tie for 60th in league scoring right now, David. And what I've noticed is that since coming back from the injury, I thought in each of the games he had a pretty good start, and then he just kind of faded out of the game. Tonight he was certainly competing hard, but his creating chances and just fumbling the puck more, and so you got to think there's something still physically um, challenging for him, and it's hard to say what that might be. But he's the Oilers' great equalizer, and these days he isn't doing a lot of equalizing. Conundrum.
Trying to see what Stuart Skinner's save percentage is here now.
Worse than it was before, which was 861, and tonight he put up an 833, so he'll be around 855 now.
Good guess, Bruce. 856, and Jack Campbell's 873. So the conundrum, tonight's conundrum, is what do you do with the Oilers goaltending situation? I actually thought there was another goal, JT Miller's goal. You'll have to have a look at that and get back to me, like you review it. But it looked to me like it wasn't screened. Like Skinner actually had a line on that puck.
He did.
Right all the way through, and he just again he's got to make that save. Like it was a good shot, but he went down instead of moving to the puck. He went down, and just another weak goal against 2 in 1 game. So they're 2 of the worst goalies in the NHL right now. And what do you do? What do the Oilers do about this? Do they just stick with these 2 guys? Do they call up someone from the farm and send down one or both? Do they call up, I guess Calvin Pickard and Olivier Rodrigue have the two best save percentages for goalies in the AHL combined. And do you send both of these guys down and call up both of them, or you just pick one? Do you pick on one? Pick on Campbell, I guess. Pick on Skinner. Pick on Campbell. It's 6 of one, half a dozen other.
Yeah,
What do you
no,
do?
well, if you waive Skinner, I mean, he's sort
He's
of
getting picked up.
he's on the all rookie team.
Yeah,
He's got a 2.6 times
fair enough.
3-year contract. You know, some team that's down in the dumps would have a long, hard look at that. Whereas Jack
Yeah,
Campbell and his nearly 4 more years at $5 million, and his disastrous results so far, and the fact that he's already 31 years old and not exactly improving. Uh, uh, at this point, I think they waive him and they call up probably Pickard and change things up for a while because their goaltending is killing them. And
you can't go. You might
you
as well.
can't win.
Yeah, and you might as well do this, right? Like, what's the downside at this point? Jack Campbell. I think when he lost the net on that wraparound goal again, he lost the team.
He lost the team. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was that play that was the last straw. There's been there's enough straw there to defeat the Golden Horde's horses. There's a lot of straw.
It's all broken.
Okay, Calvin Pickard, 31 years old, 6'1", 206. He's played 116 NHL games. He's got a .903 save percentage. Last played in the NHL, 21-22. That sounds great, .903. Wow. Last played in the NHL, 21-22 for the Detroit Red Wings with an .875 percentage. 3 games. He's
a number 3.
Here's his save percentage in his last 3 years in Detroit, Bruce. Only 3, 6, and 3 games, but okay, 797, 874, and 875.
He'll fit right in.
And then before that, the 3 save percentages, 27-18 for Toronto, 2018-19 for Philly, and 2018-19 for Arizona were 857, 863, and 892. So maybe they call up Olivier Rodrigue and see if the young guy's ready. Pickard actually has played more. He's played 4 games to 2 for Rodrigue. I don't know why they go with that.
He played a lot for Colorado. Like, he was Colorado's backup, and then in 16-17, he played 50 games for Colorado because their starter got hurt.
Yeah,
and they weren't going anywhere, and they just went with him. And he put up a .904 that season, and a half decent 298 goals against average on a team that went 15, 31, and 2 when he was in net. So, he's not exactly been blessed with great teams, but I guess you could make the case he's not going to be blessed with a great team if he gets called up to the current Edmonton Oilers, because this has not been a great team.
I mean, to go with Olivier Rodrigue would be, he's just tiny. He's 6'1", 158 pounds, according to Hockey DB, 23. The Oilers'
same height, 50 pounds lighter. Wow.
Second round draft pick in 2018. He was actually struggling in the minors his first 3 seasons, looks like. 2 seasons. And then last year in Bakersfield, in 29 games, he had a .912 save percentage, which isn't bad. And this year in 2 games, .968. So, listen, you could do worse than trying him for a few games. Stranger things have happened than a young goalie coming up and getting hot and a team rallying around him and winning a few games. It actually happened kind of somewhat with Stuart Skinner last year. Yeah, I think that's the. Are we agreed on this is the solution to the conundrum? Send down Campbell, call up Rodrigue, or
I think you got to send down Campbell. I mean, Picard has been the number 1 guy in Bakersfield. He is the veteran with NHL experience, so he would be sort of more your conventional choice. Rodrigue, I mean, he's only played 2 games in Bakersfield this year. But you know what? Last year, he ended the season. He had a long skid, and then last year, his last 5 games, .967, .950, .966, .941, .952. His last 5 games last year.
He's the Dustin Wolf of the Oilers organization.
And this year, .969 and .968. So he's had 7 great games in a row, basically.
You know what? You're just, at this point...
Well, then what? Do you put him in against San Jose? Like, what do you do? Call the guy up and then use him right away?
Yeah,
Or
why not?
do you call him up as for show and leave him on the bench and hope that
It's not like Skinner
Skinner
had
gets
it.
it
It's
together?
not like Skinner's played well. Like both of them are like just terrible right now. So just yeah,
Uh-huh.
play them.
Yeah. Well, Skinner, in his defense, I will say he made some terrific saves in the third period of this game
He
tonight when
did
the
actually. I was
game
feeling
was
better.
falling
That's
apart. He
true.
was actually, he
Yeah.
was, but I mean, unfortunately, the game was already over by then. And what you need is a goalie that makes a save when you actually need the save.
Yeah.
This
You
is what
do.
hasn't been happening near enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Calvin Pickard. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he's been an okay goal in the AHL, Calvin
Mhm.
Pickard, the last 2 years, 918 and 912 save percentages. So it's not crazy to call him up either. But Rodriguez just red hot, so why not? And you just never know.
Well, you got to do something. And, it's making a trade of goalies in season is almost impossible.
He's a
You
smaller
know,
goalie, so that's that. I have never seen him play much. So you're thinking acrobatic goalie? Maybe acrobatic goalie is what the the owners could use. Well, all those 2-on-1, someone's got to move fast across that net.
yeah.
So there you go. Do you think they're going to do it? Do you think
I
Woodcroft is
think
going to?
there's a reasonable chance. Like the pressure's mounting. The
Yeah, they've got
pressure's
to do
mounting.
something.
They're giving up 5 goals against every game. Like their 8 regulation losses, they've given up 41 goals. They've
Yeah,
given up at least 4 goals in every regulation loss. They lost 3-2 in overtime, and the 2 times they held the other team below 3 goals, that was their 2 wins. And otherwise, it's like 4+ game after game after game. Like all 8 losses, at least 4 goals against.
Adam Ernie scored a goal in Bakersfield in his first game.
There you
All
go.
right, Bruce, let's leave it there.
That's,
Thanks for
I
talking
got to
tonight.
write about this pig yet.
Oh, you're doing the game grades? I thought it was Kurt.
Nope, it's my turn tonight.
Sorry to hear that, Bruce. My condolences.
Oh well,
Keep it
I had
short.
the 8-1 game in the season opener, so this will be a cakewalk compared to that.
Right.
And I promise not to mention the referees more than maybe 20 or 30 times tops.
Thanks for talking tonight.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.